going back to old school stone arch bridges, the way the Romans built them, get a wooden form, build a wooden circle, put your stone bridge over the top, like so, and then take away the arch. Oh, sorry, take away the formwork and the arch stays behind. There's the top of the bridge loaded up with rocks and ballast to keep everything in compression. So that's in compression, that transfers onto that, that transfers onto that, that transfers onto that. There's your reaction force. Holds the bridge together. Until it gets to a certain distance, it gets to a distance where that arch is too big and the arch just collapses under its own weight. Frenchmen fixed that problem back in the days before they were building steel bridges. First cast iron bridge was literally in a town called Iron Bridge. Here's a river, here's an English industrialist's factory, there's his workforce, and there, 35 minutes to 40 minutes up the road, was the bridge crossing. He wants to advertise that his factory is beautiful and it's a great foundry. So he just went, I know what I'll do. I'll build a bridge out of iron across the river. It still stands today. But he designed it like timber, so it's full of dovetails. Every bit's just like he built it out of timber, but he built it out of cast iron. And it physically all fits together. Once again, just Google Iron Bridge. Perronnette figured out instead of a semicircle, you can actually build a bridge that looks like this. And then that actually takes the weight better and it doesn't self-collapse. Just a slightly different design. That's essentially the history of some of the bridges and the bridge failures, but just to prove Australia's not immune. The Westgate Bridge in Melbourne was Shelby right. It wasn't. Unfortunately, I think it was 35 people lost their lives. They're building, you've probably heard of the Westgate Bridge in Melbourne, have you? Yeah? Okay, one yes, one no. The Westgate Bridge is the main bridge going up, one of the main bridges going into Melbourne. Suspension bridge, here's one side, here's the other side. Space is short on a construction site, isn't it? Here's the lunchroom. There's half the bridge. Suspension. There's half the bridge. Suspension. Build half the bridge, bring it up, build half the bridge, bring it up, and they actually missed. The two halves were misaligned by that, about that much in real life. So what did they do? Common sense says you loosen off these cables, you tighten up those cables. That takes days, weeks, doesn't it? Months. I don't know whether it was political pressure or financial pressure. Instead what they did is, they got every single concrete truck, every single ballast truck and drove it on the high side. Dropped the bridge down. When it was together, they bolted it together and drove away and the bridge stayed. But what's happening to the bolts now? Are they in tension or compression or something else? Shear. What happens when you shear bolts? They break. They drove all the trucks off at lunchtime. While there were 35 people sitting in a lunchroom, the bridge actually broke. I'm sure there were a lot more people injured, but 35 people lost their lives. The Tasman Bridge is just a standard pier concrete, reinforced concrete bridge. But a ship captain in the middle of the night hit the middle pier and knocked the bridge over. Because they built the bridge and said they could get through a gap that big. What they do now worldwide, after the Tasman Bridge got hit by a ship, in front of every pier they've got a bollard now to save it. Yeah, it's all the out of failures come successes. Yeah, unfortunately it is a loss of life, but that's some of the history, some of the history of civil structures.